This is Digaros Masculist MGTOW Flyers. That is 2 3-page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo Digaros. This is flyer number 116, entitled MGTOW Masculist Bullets for High School College Males. And by bullets I don't mean gun bullets, I mean bullets as in bulleted items. Description. This flyer summarizes the main MGTOW/masculist ideas for high school and college males to change their lives and to use as bullets against arrogant feminazis. Flyer itself. MGTOW Masculist Bullets for High School College Males. MGTOW is starting to get traction with the general public. Recently, the BBC did a TV documentary on the MGTOW movement. I haven't seen it yet, but it's a milestone, the first of its kind, as far as I know. Now, remember, this was written a year or so back. Things have improved a lot since then, especially with a new movie called The Red Pill, but it was made by a woman, interestingly. Another first is the first book published with the word MGTOW explicitly in the title by Tim Patten, P-A-T-T-E-N, entitled MGTOW, Building Wealth and Power. This flyer aims to help that traction along a bit by providing high school and college men with the main MGTOW-masculist ideas so that they can use them at school, at university, attacking feminist women when the latter get too arseholy or too arrogant. These ideas also are capable of changing men's lives, so are important in that aspect as well. So here are some of the main MGTOW/masculist ideas. To go deeper, watch the thousands of YouTube videos on the topic, particularly those of Turd Flinging Monkey, TFM, Sandman, Thinking Ape, etc. Notice they're all pseudonyms because they're afraid of being doxed by feminazi bitches. To be doxed is to have your personal details made public so that feminazi bitches can contact your employer, your customers and so forth, and try to destroy your economic life. Why now? Why are 70% of young men under 35 in the US and Japan refusing marriage and paternity? Because of the fluffy feminist takeover of the divorce courts, which now financially massacre roughly one married father in 4, forcing him to lose his kids, his house, paying child payments and alimony to his fluffy ex-wife, so that she continued to parasite off his money after the divorce the way she did before the divorce. A fluffy is a traditional woman who expects to be able to parasite off the money of a man, that is, make a man's slave of him, so that he pays for her to live in a middle-class house to raise her kids in. Now that we have the contraceptive pill, and women choose to have 0, 1 or 2 kids mostly, women can work. And given that they can work, that is 40 years or more of career time, they must work, in capitals. Anything else is parasitism of a man's labour. Masculism is men's lib, that is, liberating men from working for women. Masculists put enormous moral pressure on women to be FIPs, financially independent persons, and punish them if they aren't, by refusing to have anything to do with them, not even sexing them. Thus fluffies rot on the shelf to extinction. The primary political goal of the masculists are to free men from manslavery by women, to force the gender politician to men-fair the gender laws, and to prevent MGTOW/masculists from eventually wiping out whole populations. MGTOW/masculists often have tway-twef relations with FIP women. That is, the man and the woman are both FIPs and both have their own apartment. 2A, 2F equals 2 apartments, 2 FIPs. This lifestyle gives men the regular sex he needs and some female companionship without paying the terrible cost of a toxic divorce. 2/3 of US and Japanese men reason that marriage and having kids is way too risky, so they don't take the risk. So guys, don't marry, don't have kids. MGTOW teaches men about the psychology of women, that they do not love men. They love men's exploitability, and that women evolved to be like that. If a man loses his exploitability by her, for her, she is evolved to coldly and disloyally drop him and look for another manslave to sexploit. This idea is called the Red Pill by MGTOWs, analogous to the red pill in the movie Matrix, that is, choosing to face up to the tough reality, that is, in the movie, that the intelligent machines are using human bodies as battery power and feeding their brains electronic signals, the Matrix, to make them think they're living in the 20th century. MGTOWs call men who have not swallowed the red pill blue pill men, that is, still living in the Matrix, that is, still believing that women love men for qualities other than his exploitability by her. MGTOWs also teaches that women are hypergamous, that is, always on the lookout for a more sexploitable male. If one comes along and there's a serious possibility she can make the switch, she will, and have little feeling for the man she dumps, because that is her evolved nature. It makes perfect Darwinian evolutionary sense, if you think about it, given that in the distant past, women depended on men to give them protein to survive, so their children could survive. A man who lost his protein-providing capacity was quickly dumped. That's how women are. The red pill. MGTOWs tend to be more politically passive than masculists. Most MGTOWs are content to just walk away from marriage and kids, spending their money on themselves. Masculists are much more political. They push for the creation of men's lib groups at high schools and colleges to help spread MGTOW/masculist ideas, but MGTOWs are not totally politically impotent. They do make lots of MGTOW YouTube videos to get the message out. Masculists push to interest the journalists to write stories / make TV programs, etc. about MGTOW/masculist ideas. Via the broadcast media, it will be possible to reach the masses, the billions, so that in time, MGTOW/masculist ideas become as well known as feminist ideas are today, a process that took half a century from the beginning of the rise of second-wave feminism in the 60s. Masculists have a hatred of the gender politicians who changed the divorce laws in the 70s to make them strongly biased in favour of fluffy ex-wives and not caring about the horrible and massive costs to men, hence the man strike. So masculists put pressure on the gender politicians to men-fair the gender laws, otherwise the MGTOW/masculists will continue to wipe out whole populations. Masculists want a paternity rejection right, so that men can refuse unwanted pregnancies. If the woman continues the pregnancy and does not abort, then she, as a FIP, takes full financial responsibility for the kid. Women have a mara, but men don't have a para. A massive sexual discrimination against men, and one of the many reasons why masculists insist so strongly that all women must become FIPs or be manless, that is, loveless, sexless, childless, poor, and increasingly, as MGTOW/masculist ideas spread, shunned by society, who increasingly will look upon fluffies as, quote, immoral, parasitic, manslaving vermin. So, when some feminist classmate of yours starts sprouting how men oppress women by absorbing the ideas in this flyer and watching MGTOW YouTube videos, you will have the intellectual bullets to shoot back at her and scare her shitless. Tell her the first category of women to be rejected by men are the feminazi bitches. Feminazis will certainly rot on the shelf, not even being sexed. When you see the majority of your female colleagues at high school studying fluffy crap, that is, being fluffy crappers, that is, not studying math and the sciences, STEM, STEM, science, tech, engineering, math majors, then they will be forced to study fluffy crap at college, then won't earn good money on the whole. So in their 30s, when their biological clock is ticking hard, they will be fluffies, looking for some manslave to parasite upon, but the supply of them in a decade or so will have almost totally dried up. You can point the finger at these fluffy crappers and label them as such. They are future fluffy parasites and will be punished by men. Tell them, quote, be fit or be manless. No calculus, no baby. Scare the shit out of them. Tell them that men are nearly all FIPs. We are raised that way and evolved to be FIPs. We men have the power to force women to be FIPs. Because a fluffy can only be a fluffy if some manslave is willing to pay for her. But such men are disappearing fast. With no manslave to parasite upon, a fluffy will be poor, and deservedly so. She did not make the effort to become a FIP, so she pays the price, that is, no man. Use these MGTOW/masculist bullets to shoot down fluffies and fluffy feminists. Most feminists are fluffy feminists because they know nothing of MGTOW/masculism. It's up to you to teach them and to get them to shut up, frighten them, piss them off, Tell them if they don't study fit majors, math and the sciences, STEM majors, then they will almost inevitably become fluffies, and hence men will shy away from them, preferring to have tweth relationships only with fit women, until the gender politicians men fear the gender laws. Good luck. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name De Garis Masculist MGTOW Flyers.